Today's warm-up, in today's warm-up, we have this rational expression, and we're asked to simplify it, and then we're also asked what values of x cause this expression to be undefined. So let me begin by simplifying it. Remember, every time, the way that we simplify rational expressions is we cancel out or divide out common factors on the top and the bottom. So these are not in factored form, the top and the bottom of this expression. So my first task will be to factor the top and factor the bottom, and then see if there's anything that I can divide out. So remember, factoring quadratics, there's several strategies for doing this, but just remember that when we factor a quadratic, we typically get a product of two binomials. The way that I factor this one quite easily is I factor the first term. Those my x squared factored into the product of two x's. And then I imagine what numbers multiply to make 12 but add to make -7. Of course, it's -3 and -4. Every time I factor something like this, I always just reverse the process in my mind to make sure that I get back to the same thing that I started with. Surely, by using the distributive property, x times x is x squared. I get -3x on the inside and -4x on the outside. Combining those together, that gives me -7x. And then -3 times -4 is +12. So I just confirmed that I factored properly. And on the bottom, let me just first rewrite the bottom in a way that is more familiar to me. The terms of this quadratic are ordered not in standard form, but they're out of order. So I've put them in order, and that helps me think about how this might factor. So I'll copy these factors on the top, and then get to the business of factoring the bottom. Same process. Factor the first term, imagine what multiplies to make 6, +6, and what adds to make -5. It's going to be a -3 and a -2. Now, my top and the bottom are completely factored. And notice there is a common factor. There's an x minus 3 on the top and the bottom. So those will divide out and become 1. So I can eliminate those, and I'm left with x minus 4 divided by x minus 2. And that is the simplified version of this original expression. Now, what values of x cause this expression to be undefined? And when I say this expression, we're talking about the original expression that we were given. All right, and the first thing to remember is that dividing by 0 is undefined. Okay, so I need to consider all of the values of x that would cause the bottom of this expression to equal 0. And I've already gone through the trouble of factoring this thing, so let me go to this step in my simplification process and notice that there are actually two values of x that cause this bottom to be equal 0. If x is 3 or if x is 2, then the bottom of this expression is equal to 0, and that means we would be dividing by 0. So 3 and 2 are the values that would cause this expression to be undefined. So I might just write it like this. X is not equal to 3 or 2 because those values cause division by 0. Some statement that just demonstrates why these values are not allowed. And that is today's warm-up.